Hello and welcome to Missy's Imaginings. Today I'm here with Hugh Wrong and Doctor Who, and we're not going to be spending a lot of time with the third scale BJDs. These are the taller ones here, and she's looking lovely in her little tulip sleeve dress. There you go. It was just one that I had that would fit. She got some new shoes, so that was exciting. So we're going to be moving from these to, and here's a warning for some benign dolly nudity coming. We're going to be looking at the MSD or fourth scale fellas. I'm going to anchor the camera here. And I've had a couple questions on sizing for the Ipple House quarter scale, and I don't remember which initials it was, but evidently they're about 50 centimeters tall. I don't know. I don't have any of those. And so when it comes to the quarter scale male dolls, this is all I have. Just these four guys right here. Well, I have several of this. I have this guy. He's also the Doctor Who. I have the Strider from the Lord of the Rings. I have one of the Freedom for Fashion guys, and I have Kane from Jupiter Ascending. So I have four of this body style. Then I have this fella who is the Peter Pevensey Bytoner, and he also has the same body style as Mortimer, I believe. I think the other guy that's with Eloise, I don't remember his name. I think he still has this kind of body. But I think this is the kind Mortimer has. And then I have the hero body. And then this is a Miro doll quarter scale, newer 1/4 quarter scale sculpt body. And I did a box opening and a wiring on this guy a while ago. So you can check out that video if you want to see more about him. But these are the only ones that I have. And so I don't know exactly how they compare to, say, the Ipple House fellas. I'm out of camera today because I'm on vacation. Yay! And so I am on a Tuesday, a rainy Tuesday. I'm in my jams with a slept-in French braid, and I am not going to be on camera. So we're going to look at these guys from afar. So what I thought I would do is I was looking through my notebook, and I have not done a basic pattern set for either one of these fellas, and I could not find one for this guy, and I don't think I have one for Matt. No, but there are some other patterns for the Matt body style on the website. So what I thought I'd do is I would go ahead and put together a basic set for these two guys, since he already has a bunch of patterns on the website. And this guy is actually wearing clothes that were designed for him. So they intermatch pretty well. They're very similar in size. So I don't know that I'll do a basic set for either one of these right away, just because there are several patterns available already for them. With these guys, before we get into making the basic sets, I wanted to show you what they look like, because there's some interesting wonkiness with these two bodies. We'll start with the Peter Pevensey, which is the one I like the best out of the two. He just looks a little more normal. But I think he's supposed to, because this is supposed to be a superhero, so he has more of a comic look to him. But this guy does have a lot of wonkiness here right in the hips. I don't know why there's this huge gap, because not even the Matt has that. I don't know what that's for. So when I do the basic set, I'm not going to make the pattern show this big weird dent in here. It'll just be designed as if it were flush, and we'll just try to make it look as evenly as possible so that when you're drafting patterns, you won't have to deal with that weirdness. But it is weird. And here, if I turn him at an angle, oh, maybe I'll just bring him closer to the camera. Here we go. It's just weird. I don't know what they were thinking of when they designed this. Maybe it's supposed to be for mobility. I don't know, but It doesn't seem like it's any better than the other doll. It's just weird. So, whoa, hi Matt. I'll lay him down here so he doesn't fall on his face. So that's weird about that. Then with the superhero body, this guy, it's just, excuse me, the curvature and contours on his body, like I say, do look very comic book, which perhaps that was the purpose, because it is known as the superhero body. But it's just so out there. And so if you do a basic set, it's going to look really weird because his legs are hourglass shape. So on the pattern, I will put a notation on what the actual curvature looks like compared to how you would actually make the pants look. But I just wanted to take a look at what these shapes actually look like before we start. This one, in truth, I was extremely disappointed. It's just cheap plastic. It's hollow. It just doesn't have a nice feel. His arms and the back of his, muscles are sculpted in a way that he can't even put his arms down. Yeah, I didn't realize there was such a frozen amount of mobility in this doll when I ordered him. And so when he actually arrived, I was pretty disappointed. But I kept him basically so that I could sew for him, because I had requests for clothing, and I still haven't even done that much. So we're going to get some use out of him and at least make a basic pattern that you can compare to some of the sculpts for BJDs. Maybe he'll be close. I don't know. I will go ahead and put the specs for both of these dolls on the screen. So here, we'll flash them up there. And I'm also going to add over here the specs that Suzanne sent me for the Ipple House guy, so you can compare them. And we'll leave them up for a minute so you can take a screenshot and see how those compare with what you might have. So now that we've looked at all four of the fellas, we'll go ahead and start drafting basic set patterns for these two. Now remember also, if you're new to the channel, a basic pattern set is not clothing. It's just a pattern set that is drafted directly from wrapping the doll so that you can design your own outfits and know that they'll fit. If you were to sew these pieces together, all you're going to get is a really tight bodysuit with no overlaps for closures. It would just be a stocking suit. That's it. So remember, these are for your convenience. So when you're drafting clothing, you can have something that's designed for one of these dolls, and hopefully it'll be close to something that you want to use, and it'll just make drafting a little bit easier. So without further ado, we will go ahead and we'll get out the saran wrap and the tape and the markers and start wrapping up these fellas to make their patterns. So now both of these sets are done and ready to be posted on the website. I thought I'd go over a little bit. The Hero Body Style by Tonner has really, really curvy muscles. So I've indicated on this basic set the contours of the legs because he has such muscly thighs, then pretty normal knees, and then huge muscly calves. And so in order to get the pants to hang like a nice, fit, you have to make sure that the outside of that thigh and the outside of that calf are taken into account with the width of the leg. So you can't just go from up here down to the ankle, or else it won't fit his legs. So on the pattern I indicated where those curvy parts are on the legs, so you can see why the legs are cut the way they are. If you want to make like a stretchy bodysuit to protect the doll from other clothing, you could design a pattern based on the actual curvature of the body contours and get a very, very snug fitted bodysuit or, legging type pants to go underneath clothing. And I did the same thing on the Peter Pevensey Mortimer body. I just indicated where those curves are on the legs. The Mortimer body has kind of a weird fit around the hips and like the pelvis, but I just made a basic fit. I didn't put all those weird curvy lumps into the pattern there. The other thing to note on these two is they do have, and especially on the Hero body, he's got a really big chest that goes down to a slim waist. So the curvature of the body was very severe, and so the top, I have a piece that has a dart. If you want to make something that's super fitted, you can use those pieces with a dart. But if you just want to go ahead and do, a regular shirt, there's also a straight front and back option that will basically go kind of from the chest down, and then there would be a little bit of fullness around the waist that you could tuck into the pants. But I just wanted to have both of those options available for you if you want that real fitted top that you just don't want it to look like there's a bust line. But this is just more for fitting, so you can see how those would fit if you want to do any mock-ups. And I did the same thing on the Peter Pevensey Mortimer. There's the straight cut just for basic shirts if you want to make t-shirts or long sleeve shirts or whatever. But then I did include also that piece that shows what the fitted shirt would look like if you want to use that for any of your clothing designs. So there's the two sets. They will be ready. I will also, when I get them ready to put online, I will add the dimensions for these two dolls so that you'll be able to compare them to other MSD size dolls. I just had some questions regarding making patterns for the Ipple House MSD guys. They have so many notations on their body types and sizes. I don't have any of those dolls. I don't know how they would compare, but I'll put the measurements for the Hero body and the measurements for the Mortimer body. That way you can kind of compare if you have one of those dolls, see how those measurements would compare to the size of your fellas, and then use whatever is appropriate or do a combination of the two. So however it's the most helpful, there you go. We have two new pattern sets ready. I'll be posting them on the website, and that way you'll be able to access those and use them if they're workable. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time. Bye.